Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday night, and that means it's time for another Spotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Tonight, we're happy to announce that we're also going to be joined by Rob Young, who's going to help us out with some of these interviews. Rob, how's it going?
Great. How you doing, Craig? Hello, everyone.
Ready to get down to some interviewing, ask some questions to Nathaniel Greenaway today?
Sure.
Awesome.
Yep. So ask away, and I'll jump in there if I've got anything I'd like to ask him as well.
Excellent. Well, we're talking driver of the 93 Thunderstock tonight, Nathaniel Greenaway. Let's get Nathaniel in here. Nate, how's it going tonight?
Not bad. Yourself, Craig? How you doing,
Not
Rob?
too bad. Not too bad at all. How is everything going so far over the winter? What's the preparations like? What's happening over the winter time here?
Well, so we kind of just got on our way. I kind of gave the guys more the holidays off and all that, just to relax and kind of wind down. Once we were still waiting on a motor, which we just got today. So now it's kind of the time for us to start kicking off and getting going. Really,
Excellent.
for us, because we ended up blowing the motor towards the end of the year last year, so we knew we were time for a new one, and it's time to get going now.
Excellent. Well, that sounds good. So I guess the first thing I'd like to know, Nate, is how did you actually get interested in racing? What was your first introduction into racing?
My first introduction racing, great question, is when I was young. My mom was a paralegal, and she used to take me with her during the summer when I had school breaks off and all that. And everywhere we went had a go-kart track. So we kind of just went go-karting all the time, and from there we did a little research and we found the Junior Racing League out in Delaware. And that's kind of where the passion grew. Is I always had the thrill of being behind the wheel, and it kind of just grows from there. You just get bigger toys as you get older, right? So.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we'll talk about that junior league a little bit later on. But growing up, were you into any other sports? Did you get into any stick and ball sports, hockey or basketball, baseball?
We were. My family was a big demolition derby family and hockey family. I grew up at the ice rink too, playing hockey and playing travel. And definitely through high school, I was definitely active with the Dragon Boat community and volleyball, basketball, kind of everything. I was really involved with communal sports, and also helping out when I got the chance with a lot of the younger teams and stuff like that.
Okay. You decide you want to go.
Hey, Nate, where'd you go to school?
So I went to school in a small little town of Pancourt, just outside of Chatham. It's actually a French Catholic school. It's École Secondaire de Pancourt, or ESPC as most people know it. And really small school, but they do have a hockey program and a lot of great programs they offer for a small school, especially with a lot of traveling involved too. I got the chance to go overseas twice on school trips with them and do a humanitarian trip in Nicaragua. So for a small school, they do really have a lot to offer. So I definitely grateful that I got the chance to go there.
Yeah, I saw that. That's really cool. So what about the Nicaragua trip? Was that more of a Christian mission type thing?
It was kind of like a Christian mission, but also more. So for us, we lived with a family for 10 days, and we got to help out, work on their farm, and we also got to basically fully involved in their culture. Like most of us couldn't even speak a lick of Spanish, and some of us came out of there somewhat understanding. So it was really cool just to see the different. It was more the culture shock, honestly, at a young age, right? You go from having the access to technology and all that. You get there, and they're so happy with so little, and it makes you appreciate a lot more, right? Too. Yeah. So they taught me just as much as I probably helped them.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good to know. Thanks for sharing that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. It's good to know the information about our drivers. So now you decide you're gonna try some racing. Talk about how you got into the junior league that you were talking about and what it's all about.
So the one thing I love about that junior league and how I got involved was we were looking at go-karting, and there wasn't much kind of around here. And then a friend of my dad's, one of my uncles, I basically call him, he kind of brought up, he's like, hey, check into Delaware. And we started looking into it, and it's a small little junior J car. It's just little 9-horse Hondas is all they are. And they're kind of cool. But at the end of the race, they teach the drivers. So you go up to a classroom and they actually teach you how to set up your car, the caster, the camber, the tow, and they teach you all that. So which is cool. So at a young age, you get to learn and fully get involved in your car, and it's not just you running off saying hi to your friends and you let your dad and all do all the work, right? Great program for anyone that wants to get involved, especially they're not fast cars, but you know, when you're a kid and you're behind the wheel, you feel like you're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay. Is it really competitive, or is it more of just a learning experience type of thing?
yeah, the group of guys that I kind of went up through with, we like I grew up with Joe Lawrence and racing against him, and now he's racing the APC late model series. We always kind of had a good rivalry between us, but a friendly rivalry. And the competition's good, but everyone's friendly. So it's not, you can walk up to anybody and at the end of the race, you know, if you get into them, it's like, oh, it's a learning curve. But it's definitely a great program for young drivers if they definitely want to start and learn. Because that was honestly what developed my passion more into racing was the junior racing league.
Okay. Excellent. And how long were you involved with that?
I did 3 years with that. I joined kind of late because I found out a little late. I actually aged out after my 3rd year, but I still got to run that 3rd year. But like I said, definitely a great program. But the 3 years of experience with that, it's how I learned how to set up more of an asphalt car. And the dirt world's a little new, but it does teach you.
Okay. Rob, do you have any questions you want to ask Nate about that?
Yeah, well,
actually,
I was just.
Sorry.
Did you lose me?
No, we got Rob. Go ahead.
All right, sorry about that. So this, other than the asphalt league, I guess the only question I was wondering here was the number 93. Is there a reason why you chose that number?
For me, like I always grew up with the number 10 in hockey, and then when I got to Delaware, I couldn't take the number 10. So I got thinking, I was like, well, is the number 9 available? Because it was my mom's favorite driver, Casey Kane, because she was a big inspiration for me getting into racing. And that was taken, and I was a big Dale Earnhardt fan growing up, even at a young age, even though I was really young, but I still rewatched tapes and everything. And I wasn't taking the number 3 out of respect for Dale. And so I kind of just put them both together, and that's where I got my 93. And I ran with it ever since, honestly.
Well, good to know. All right, I'll turn it back over to Craig there. I have some other questions later, but go ahead, Craig.
All right. So after the junior fan league, what comes after that? Do you look at doing a little bit more stuff in Delaware, or do you go on to something else?
So after that, I was looking at getting into Legends. We were going to look at running in the States more, because for me, that's kind of where I wanted to be at a young age. I knew racing in the States, it would push a career possibly. But there was a lot of extra stuff involved with that. You know, money was tight as a family, and I kind of had to make the sacrifice to either do we kind of let go of racing for a little bit just to help out, and so that's what we did. And then, but towards the end of high school, I tried to get back into it, but that's when I applied for NASCAR Technical Institute in Mooresville, North Carolina. So I kind of got out of the seat for a little while, and I wanted to learn the technical side of racing, honestly. And I got accepted to that program, but unfortunately my visas didn't get approved, because being a young age and all that stuff, they were afraid that I was just going to go to the school and then bring all that back to Canada or take someone else's job. But it was just more of an honor just to say that I was accepted to the program, that I had the chance, but hopefully maybe in the future I can try again. And then from there, that's when I enlisted in the Army and left for a little bit. And then did about 5 years with that. And then I was able to come home because family needed some help. And I kind of seen that Buxton was opening back up, because that was a childhood track that I grew up going to. And so I was like, well, let's see what we can get into.
Awesome. How long how long did you serve for overseas, or wherever it is that you were?
I never got a chance to go overseas, but I served for 5 years. I did get to do a lot of domestic operations, so stuff throughout Canada. I helped out with the fires out west a couple of times. I also got to help out doing avalanche control out on Rogers Pass out in BC, so keeping the highways open of avalanches. And other than that, I was more just always training.
Excellent. Well, we certainly appreciate your service. We thank you and everybody that helps us out and keeps our country free. That's really amazing. So we really appreciate you doing that for us. So thank you very much for that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you decide to turn your attention to racing again after you kind of get out of the Army or whatever. Did you get right back into racing, or did you do a few things and hum and haw a little bit before you decided you were going to go dirt racing?
We kind of hum and hawed for a bit because we did try. I did try to go to NASCAR Tech again. They reopened my acceptance, but we ran into the same issues with the visas again. So I started talking with Joe Lawrence, who like I said, grew up racing with, and always keeping in contact with because the racing family. And he said, "Well, come by the shop at McCall's Racing in London." So I went by, and we were looking at getting into late models on the asphalt, and for us, the cost wasn't really there because for a lot of those cars, you need to put out a lot of money, and those guys do put out a lot of money to stay competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of looked at, well, what would be more affordable for us, and that's when we found the Thunderstocks, and we started just kind of looking more, and once we found the car, we're like, well, you know what, let's go with it. It's local. It's I can definitely promote a lot more around here. Especially with a lot of our sponsors, and it's a great way to get your feet back wet in racing. And that's when I kind of found dirt, and it was definitely a different experience for sure.
Can you talk about that a little bit when you I mean, we got some pictures of you're getting your car ready, but when you go out on the dirt for the first time, are you nervous? Are you hoping it's going to stick or not drift up the track, or what's the first experience on dirt for a rookie? What's that like? Because it's your rookie season plus your rookie on dirt. So what's that like?
For me, it was a big learning curve. It was a kind of a culture shock, honestly, not gonna lie. I caught myself a couple times trying to do asphalt moves, and I was realizing that wouldn't work. And then I kind of just had to. I remembered what one of my spotter, if we were going to go asphalt, he always told me, he said, "Dude, you gotta just let the car do it." He says, "You can't drive it into the corner. You gotta throw it to the corner. You gotta just let the car go. You gotta be comfortable with being out of control." And I was like, "This is all new." But once we started figuring out the setup, and we got a lot of help from Ron Mayu and Andrew Mayu, the 98. They helped us out a lot with setup, and once we kind of got her dialed in, it was more smooth sailing from there, honestly. And it kind of just felt natural after.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. We're just going to take a quick commercial break here for a couple minutes, and then we'll be right back with you, Nate. Okay?
Absolutely.
SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers.
Looking for a new standard in IT solutions? Look no further. Let the expertise of Hebes 3 IT Solutions Inc. take your business to higher grounds. Services we provide, but are not limited to, are IT solutions and project management, website design, PC support, installation and implementation, cyber and endpoint security, residential and commercial networking, identity and branding design. With our years of experience and dedication we have to our customers, Hebes 3 can be your one-stop shop for IT solutions. Visit us today at www.hebes3it.com.
Welcome back to SOMSpotlight, presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. I'm Craig Smolders. We also have Rob Young helping us out here tonight, and we're talking to driver of the 93 Thunderstock, Nathaniel Greenaway. So, Nathaniel, you're getting going with your rookie season here. Now, I mean, you had a pretty good season, but this video here, this is from September 11th. This is your heat race from September 11th. I mean, this is probably your best finish of the season, but talk about this a little bit and what you're thinking here as you're going around.
Just rewatching the video gives me a little chills and brings me back behind the seat. But yeah, for us, that was kind of just after the turning point for us, after we got help with setup from Andrew Mayu and Ron Mayu. We were kind of just going through the heat race, and the car felt good. And once we got the popsicle sticks with 2 to go, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna finish right behind Todd Shaw. Like, for me, that was huge. That was showing more confidence in myself, and knowing that, hey, I can actually kind of run with these top dogs a little bit. Like, it was I got out of the seat and I just looked at all my crew, and I think I hugged every one of them and said, like, we can go home now. I'm happy. Like this is a great day for us so far. And it was chills after that. And I couldn't have been more proud of just honestly my guys and just for giving me that car to go out there. And the speed was there and the car felt great. And it finally we just flew and it felt good.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned that you're good friends with Andrew Mayhew, and he was right there on your tail through that race. Did you know he was that close? Do you guys laugh and joke about that a little bit?
I honestly didn't know he was that close. I wasn't even paying attention to anything but what was in front of me. And that was actually the day that Ron actually helped us out with the setup. And when I got out, he even came over. I hugged him first, and I was like, "Thank you." And he came out. He's like, "Man," he's like, "Andrew was there, but you guys were running the exact same line because you have the same setup." He's like, "So you guys were just battling with each other." And he at the end of the race, he got beside me and kind of just gave me a little tap and gave each other a little thumbs up. And like we've been pitting side by side all season, and we've grown a racing family out of that with those guys.
Excellent. Well, they're definitely a good bunch. So actually, you had a really good season. Rob, do you have any other questions for Nate talking about the 2021 season?
You were painting the car there. Is how many guys you got in your crew?
So I got I got myself, and then I got my spotter Robbie Varbell. I got Brandon Rye, who's basically my engine guy. He's an engine whiz. That guy can listen to a motor and know exactly what's wrong with it. He's unbelievable. I got Chris Laprise, that guy right there. He's my right hand man. If he knows what I need, even without even him asking anything, he knows exactly what I need. It's in my hands, and he's my calming factor more than anything because he can see when I get jittery. And then I got my dad and my uncle, and it's all friends that I keep close. And then throughout the season, we gained a bunch of my buddies kind of got intrigued and they started coming out. And one of my buddies, Joey Stickles, who's actually going to be driving a mini stock next year because I got him into it. And he was coming out. He got right involved with it with us. And now we probably got a crew of probably about 8 or 9 now with all the guys that continue to help out.
Well, it's nice to see all you young guys. I really pay a lot of attention to you guys. And so this is your first year on the dirt. Am I getting that right?
That's correct, Rob.
So looks like, did you finish 14th in points this year?
I believe so, yes.
So there's I think we had 38 cars registered, and there was probably, I don't know, 24 to 30 cars usually started every feature. And you finished 14th. Like that's pretty stout. A lot of guys in their first year figure that if they can make the top 20, they're doing something. But that's fantastic. That's the fact. Go ahead. The reason I was asking that how many guys you had sounds like what you learned off the asphalt as far as the geometry is concerned, you've applied that to your dirt car. In a lot of cases, actually, the front end geometry anyway is pretty close. Other than maybe on the asphalt, you might not have as much camber as you do on the right front in this one, but
definitely
most stuff's the same. The fact that you're learning how to trust, not only you trust your ability, you trust the race car too. Once you get going. But go ahead.
That's one thing I got to thank Todd Shaw for. I think it was my second week out. And I kind of just, because his dad, Steve Shaw, he wasn't around too much to where I could talk to him, to where when I could pick his ear, I tried, but Todd was around a lot. And when I got to talk to him, he gave me a lot of notes and stuff like that on just, because I told him, he's like, well, what do you got your air pressures at? And I was telling him, he's like, yeah, you're definitely an asphalt guy. He's like, drop them down. You want to drop your air pressures a little bit more than that. And, and it was all tips from honestly everybody, which developed into the success of the season we had. We had a couple of rough moments. There was about 2 weeks where we didn't run back to back because it was just after when we had the A main feature about halfway through the season. I was kind of fighting for that last transfer spot in the heat, and I wasn't paying attention to that little hump in the track coming off turn 2. And I was just more paying attention to where the other car was, and I hit the hump wrong, and it sent me to the wall. And that 2 weeks off definitely hurt us a little bit. But I had a goal of a top 10 in my head at the beginning of the year. But the more I look back at the year and I look at the amount of effort that all my guys put in and we put in as a team, I was beyond proud of them and beyond proud of myself too. And to even accomplish that when I seen the list of all the cars that were there. and to see the guys I was running with and a lot of the seasoned vets that I was running with, knowing that I was even able to keep pace with those guys, I was just proud enough to.
Great. There's names right up there. Finished 14th. Don't ever hold your head about that one. That's stout. I am the
No,
green that you
definitely
painted
proud
the
of that.
car. How did you come up with that color of green for your car?
So I kind of did a little bit of a NASCAR twist, like a Darlington throwback kind of thing. And that car there was the same paint scheme as my very first race car at Delaware. And I got that because I was a big Days of Thunder fan and a Cole Trickle fan in that movie. And that's where I got the paint scheme idea. And when I first started racing, we matched the paint scheme almost identical. And then the yellow was actually supposed to be a little bit brighter on the first paint scheme at the beginning of the year. But if things happen, and it still turned out great. And I got to thank one of my uncle Smitty for helping us paint the car, because he did a phenomenal job and taught me a lot for when I had to repaint. And I've been a big fan of flashy colors. And I was looking back in the past and looking and seeing with the lime green, and I could actually see some notifications come up on my phone. My brother-in-law just kind of said, "Don't lie, you like the Green Bay Packers."
Yeah.
But
Anyway, it really.
but no, the lime green, it was flashy.
I tell you, I saw you in the pits. It was very professional. I mean, you had the tent up there and a race car. Everything always looked nice and clean, and you carried yourself well. You're out on the track. You're not out there banging into anybody. And I could tell you really learned a lot. I could see the progression through the season. So, man, I can't wait to see you racing next year. That's for sure.
Absolutely, we're definitely going to be out there. And that was one thing I kind of always told my guys is if we're at the track, like it's for us, it's a business, right? For racing is a business. As much as it's a leisure, it's you got to promote yourself as long as you promote your sponsors. And I got to thank Epic Racewear for the amazing tent and the fire suit they gave me this year. But we always tried to show up as clean as car as we could, and make sure everything was organized, because that's the biggest thing. Is if you're looking for stuff, especially at night when there wasn't a lot of lights, and you don't want to be trying to find stuff, and if something happens in that feature, you want to be able to have your stuff, get out there and go.
Yep. But you never know. Whenever there might be somebody in the grandstands who could be a major sponsor for you, so you never know. You always want to carry yourself well, make sure you represent your sponsors well, and you did that. I give you an A+ on that one. So if there is somebody sitting, don't be surprised if they don't come up and be interested in your car, because just the way that you carry yourself.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And I just want to touch on that a little bit too, because also from the grandstand side, you were really good with all the fans, with my kids and everything in the junior fan club and everything. It's nice when you drivers are like that, and the fans, my kids want to come up and talk to you guys and everything. It really is great to see you guys like that. So we as fans, we definitely appreciate it. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. And to me, honestly, that's one of the biggest important things in racing is getting involved with your fans and getting involved with the kids, especially with the junior fans club, because a lot of those kids, when they come up to the racetrack, they're looking at you as you guys are race car drivers, you guys are professionals. So they do look at you, and they look highly to all drivers out on there on that track. And just to be able to get involved with them and the junior fans club, because you never know. I grew up watching Steve Shaw, and now I'm racing against him. So you never know when one of those kids could be up and challenging you.
Yep, for sure. Well, we're gonna change the scene just a little bit here. Now we're gonna go from the dirt to the computer screen. You're into iRacing a little bit. Talk about that a little bit.
So most definitely. So that was one thing I found which kind of helped us, especially during COVID, when racing wasn't going on. One of my spotter, Robbie Varbell, he's big into iRacing, and he's on a team with a Cup Series driver, Anthony Alfredo, and he kind of said, "Hey man, like check this out," and I got to jump on his sim, and I kind of loved it after that. And so we ended up developing and getting our own and developing our own setup, and after that, it's beyond it's realistic to a point. Like you don't get the shakes and the bumps in the seat that you normally get in an actual car, but the way you handle a car and the way you drive the car is a lot of the same. Especially if you can get your settings right on the computer. You'd be surprised how much it actually helps, because I jumped on the street stocks for dirt before I even jumped in the thunder stocks. And for me, that was just to kind of get into the mentality of it more than anything. I didn't want to get there and just sideswipe someone and pull an asphalt move, which I did to Laura this year, because it was the last lap, and I was like, man, I can drive it to the corner, and if I stick the bottom, I can hold it, I can take it. And the moment I put the car on the bottom, I was like, that's an asphalt move, and I slid right up into her door. And I went over and apologized after, and we kind of had a laugh about it. And you're actually seeing on the screen, you're seeing a paint scheme done up by my spotter Robbie. He designs all our cars on iRacing, and we were big into the late model series and stuff like that. And then once we started developing the dirt world, I definitely recommend for any fans that want to get into racing. You don't need to spend a lot to have sims. We were kind of the middle class sim. We had a little extra funds to play with, so we kind of went to like the 3,000 range. But I know guys that are getting their sims with one screen and just hitting the ground running with one screen, a steering wheel off of Amazon, and away they go. They're going for a couple $100.
Have you won any big races on iRacing?
Not recently. My sim wasn't with me for a little while because we were going through some other stuff with some moving and all that, and I haven't had the chance to jump back on in a little while. But once I can get back up and going and get some practicing again, then we'll be registering for some big races. I already have talked with a couple guys, and we're going to throw a Rolex 24 team together next year for the Daytona race, the Daytona road course, and hopefully see what we can get out of that. We more just do it for more the love of the sport more than anything than any of the money stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Rob, do you want to talk about iRacing at all? Have you done any iRacing at all?
No, I'm too old for that.
You're never too old to try it, Rob.
You know what? You never know. But right now my plate's pretty full. But so I'm more interested in the real thing than I am that. But all the young guys get into that stuff, and it's pretty cool. And they all say it's helpful. It helps them in their driving in real life. So it's got to be something to be said about that.
Yeah, honestly, the one part I love about it, especially when you get buddies that come over and they're like, "Oh, you just make left turns. You just make left turns." It's like, well, get in the simulator, give it a shot, see if you can make a lap. So I always put a bet out there every time someone gets in my sim that if they can beat my time on a certain track or anything, I'll buy them a case of whatever they want. So it adds some fun, especially some competition with the crew guys and everything like that. So it's definitely a good time.
Awesome.
Well, years ago when before it was iRacing, I had the steering wheel and the pedals, and I forget, it was a NASCAR software deal, and I played it regularly, but it was nothing compared to what it is now. So,
oh God, no, I can even say that as well.
So Nate, what's the plans for 2022 in the future? What are you guys working on? What are you hoping to accomplish? What's going to be going on this year?
I think I definitely set out a goal to the guys that I'm definitely shooting for that top 10 this year. Anything better than that for me is an accomplishment. But it's more just let's get comfortable with it. Let's find our groove and find our routine to where we're going to make something work for us, and let's hopefully maybe we can pull off a heat win at least this year is what I'm hoping, and maybe it can turn into a feature win. But like I said, we got some tough competition, and no guys like to give up anything, so you got to definitely fight for it, but which is all part of the sport, and it's I'm definitely hoping if I can pull off a heat win at least, and for me that's a bonus.
Well, you hit the nail right on the head. The first thing you gotta learn is car control, and you got to be comfortable with the race car. Once you have those two things accomplished, then the wins will start coming, and I know that's going to happen for you. So you've got looks like we got 11 weeks or 82 days from today. You think you can be ready for opening night, which is April 30th?
I'm hoping so, because opening night's my birthday actually, so it's I'm hoping for some good luck. But
so how old will
I'll actually be 25.
Wow, that's a perfect age. Man, I wish I was 25 again I'd start all over. But anyway, you're on
But
the
yeah,
right road, and you got a good foundation there. And as I said, you're doing all the right things. So just keep it up.
I appreciate it, Rob.
Do you have some sponsors that you'd like to thank that help you guys out?
I could go through the whole list and everything, and I definitely my bigger sponsors, especially my dad with Affordable Framing and Son. He was part of the big help. But then we got Lamb Accounting, Central Tavern. She always hosts us crew guys every usually Tuesday night and stuff like that. And she hosted our team party at the end of the year. Slabjacker, Techna Steel, Rugged Radios. I got to thank Fozzie out of California for that one. Slabjacker, Andrew at Windsor Metal Services. He was a big help in getting panels cut and stuff like that. And Tilbury Steel, Charlie over there, definitely helping us out and getting us some panels. B&L Maintenance, Pauline and Janelle, the new at Deerbrook Realty. And also PC Outfitters. Those guys actually helped us get set up on our sim. And we actually, one thing I really do want to mention is going into this year, we brought on a partner of mine, actually two partners of mine. One of them is Corporal for Life, and he's a small local guy who's a volunteer firefighter now to Windsor. His name's Nick, and 10% of every merchandise that he sells. So one of his flags actually hanging there behind me, and he's got shirts, hats, and a bunch of other stuff. 10% of his sales go to different veteran causes, so Veterans Affairs, and helping out local vets and anything like that. So he's really involved with the community. And another one of mine that we just signed on this year is Walker Fitness in Tilbury. My buddy Austin, he's trying to hit the ground running and opening his own gym. And I told him, I said, you know what, to help you out, you're a good friend of mine. So there's no money exchanging hands between us. I just want to help you out. I'm big on supporting local, especially during these times right now. Local definitely needs the most support. So you won't see a lot of big corporations on my card, and if you do, we appreciate all the support. But for me, supporting local and being able to show the card locally brings in way more business for all those guys.
Awesome. And what about the fans? If they want to help you out, do you have some swag, some hats, shirts, something you want to talk about that you guys have available?
So absolutely, we are still working on our shirts and hoodies. They are a little bit on back order. I use Mike at Fabric Illustration in Tilbury. He does all our work. We got Yetis, we got hats, toques. We just came out this year. My girlfriend actually picked out some of the hats, and it was the ponytail toque and the ponytail hat for women, and just regular ball caps for the guys. But we are working on getting those shirts and hoodies. I got a lot of people asking for them and to show support with them. So I'm working as hard as I can. I can only push Mike so hard, and I don't want him to get mad at me because he is my main supplier.
Yeah, for sure. And how are fans going to find you on social media? What kind of outlets do you have out there?
So we have our Facebook page, which is my main focus is that Facebook page, because we are pushing more towards it. So if you can follow us, Greenaway Racing Incorporated on Facebook. We do have the Instagram page. I'm trying to get that back up and going. But any fans that can shoot me a message on Facebook, anything like that, even on my personal Facebook. I'll always happy to talk to fans and to even help out new up and coming drivers and to help them out. So it's we try to stay involved with them, and if they're more than happy to get in touch with me on my Facebook, that's probably the quickest way to get in touch with me, honestly, because the notifications go straight to my phone. So we're definitely involved with that.
Okay, Rob, do you have any other questions for Nate?
Nope. I just he's a very nice young man, and it's good to see these young guys. And I mean, there's you guys in that division, and you're putting on a heck of a show. That's what brings the fans back. Just as I said, the way that you carry yourself, you're going to go a long way, and you're learning that race car. Just talking to you, I can tell that next year you're going to see that. First of all, the heat race win, and you'd be surprised that once you win that first one, the rest of them come pretty easy. So I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see you out there next year.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it, and I'm hoping so. We're definitely hopeful going into this year. We got some expectations we're hoping to meet. And definitely before we part ways, I definitely got to give a shout out. I get messages popping up on my phone from friends of mine out west that I served with and out in Manitoba. So I definitely got to represent everybody over at 1st Regiment Royal Canadian Horse Artillery. Love you guys. Mom, I know you're watching out there too. Miss you, love you. You're out there out west. And everyone watching back here at home and all the support. I appreciate all you guys. And hopefully we can pull off a win for you guys.
Awesome. Well, like Rob said, Dave, we really, you're a wonderful young man, and we really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to join us tonight. This has been a really fun conversation. We love getting to learn a little bit about the drivers, and you had your first rookie season last year, so you're the people coming up through the sport, and we look forward to watching you next year and all the years beyond. We wish you the best of luck and hope you have a successful 2022.
Thank you guys, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Nate.
Okay,
Cheers, guys.
So that was Nathaniel Greenaway, driver of the 93 Thunderstock. He drives Saturday nights at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway. Get out, come out and see him and get some, autographs, talk to him for a little bit. He's a great guy. And you definitely don't want to see him. So Rob, we definitely thank you for jumping on here. Do you have anything that you want to talk about?
Nope. I just, thanks for letting me be a part of it. I kind of had more fun listening to Nate talk. It's just, again, I can't say enough about these young guys in our late model and our modified division. We've got guys who are got some age on them, right? So we gotta get these young people to come up through these divisions. Not only the Thunderstock division, but our mini stocks and our mini mod division. There's a lot of young guys through there, and maybe it's just because of my age. I realize that us old guys aren't really we're not putting the show on anymore. So when you watch these kids, they race like it's the last race every lap. Yep. I'm talking about it's the Thunderstock, the mini stock, and a mini mod division. They're a lot of fun to watch, and yep. Especially when you're running a chassis like they are in the Thunderstock division that. They don't turn like a late model or a modified. You really got to drive these things, and these kids are really learning. And the fact that Nate had some go-kart experience, you'll find that a lot of these young people that come into stock car racing from go-kart racing, they already have a lot of skill. They're a little sort of a step ahead of the guys that never did race go-karts, but they're just a lot of fun to watch, and not just the guys, the girls too. I mean, I'd like to see more girls get involved in our sport because people pay a lot of attention to that, and if we put on a good show, and if these young kids put on a good show, and it carries on into the modifieds and late model division, then we're going to keep putting people in the grandstands and bringing new people out to more sponsors and whatnot. So yeah, it's really cool to watch them. I have a lot of fun doing that.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, they all did put on a good show. Well, this has been SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. That's SOMSpotlight on YouTube. Also, don't forget to go over to the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Fan Zone. We have the favorite driver, best appearing deal thing going on right there. So make sure you're getting involved in that. Don't forget to go on the SOMSpotlight YouTube. We had the Hangover Enduro race a couple weeks ago. It went very well, so make sure you're going over and checking out that video. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. This has been a really fun conversation with Nathaniel Greenaway. Next week, we will be joined by the driver of the 09D UMP Modified, Joel Dick. So we hope you come back next Monday at 7 o'clock and join us again. SOMSpotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Good night.
Good night, everybody.